Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today we're going to be looking at my OTK profile for BT15 MetalGarurumon X. So starting with the eggs, we're going to have 4 copies of ST16 Sunamon. This is going to draw us a card if we have 6 or fewer cards in our hand. Then we're going to go for 4 copies of the BT15 Gabumon. Start a main, one of our Digimon gains blocker, and then if we have Ishida, we get to draw 1 card. And then when attacking, we'll also draw a card, so this is going to find us our OTK pieces and make sure that we can actually pull off the combo. Then we have 1 copy of the Gabumon X-antibody. When Digivolving or on play, is going to search us pieces, but more importantly, the inheritable effect is one of our protection effects. So if we can find this card, it's fantastic for the protection effect. If not, it's fine. 4 copies of ST16 Gabumon. This starter main is going to gain us a memory, and it's when attacking, it's going to draw us a card and then trash a card, which is important because our protection effects need us to have cards in trash in order to actually work. So 4 copies of this card is important. And then 1 copy of the restricted ST6 Gabumon. It is the same inheritable as the new starter deck Gabumon, but it's not limited to once per turn. Next, we go 4 copies of the new BT15 Garurumon. If we have a Tamer with Matt Ishida in its name, we get to draw 1 when Digivolving. And if we don't have one, we get to play a Matt Ishida with its cost reduced by 3. And then when attacking, we will also be drawing a card. So this is, again, helping us to find our pieces. 3 copies of the old Garurumon X-antibody. We only run this because the new Garuru X is restricted, and the protection effects are really important when you're swinging for 6 to 7 checks in a turn. So we run this just to make sure that we have at least a layer of protection on our stack. 1 copy of the restricted Garurumon X. When Digivolving is going to draw us 2, trash us 2, and gain us a memory if we have Garurumon in its sources. And the inheritable is the same as the Gabumon X. It's going to be a protection effect. Lastly, we're going to round it out with 3 copies of the ST16 Garurumon. The security effect can play us a Matt Ishida or a Gabumon from hand or trash, which is really nice. And when Digivolving, it's going to draw us 1, trash us 1, same thing when attacking. So again, the theme here is just cycling, finding our pieces to set up for our top end that lets us OTK. We're going to have 4 copies of the WereGarurumon X-antibody. This is going to go on the ST16 WereGarurumon, and the reason we like this is the inheritable is going to let us unsuspend once per turn by trashing a card in our hand, as well as unsuspending when Digivolving. And we have 4 copies of the ST16 WereGarurumon as mentioned. When attacking, we can trash a card to unsuspend, and then its inheritable is going to let us delete a level 4 or lower, so that's going to pop any floodgates that might be on the board. Our main level 6 in this deck is going to be 3 copies of the BT15 MetalGarurumon. This card does have evade. When Digivolving, 3 of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers can't suspend until the end of your opponent's turn, so that's really good for locking down the opponent. But more importantly is when this Digimon becomes suspended, we can unsuspend it. So this is going to give us an extra check on our already existing MetalGarurumon X combo. And then if we have Matt Ishida and the opponent has a Mega level Digimon, we can warp into this for 4. So this is a really fantastic card, and it's a really nice top end for MetalGarurumon in X in general. Then I like 2 copies of MetalGarurumon X, the old one. We like this one a little bit more than the new one because it does unsuspend. It gains blocker, which is kind of less important unless you're playing from behind. And when it unsuspends, you can return all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to their hand. So we're going to be able to get around blockers using that effect. 1 copy of the new MetalGarurumon X, because sometimes you don't get your combo perfectly, or you might be playing a little bit from behind. The blocker is nice. Giving all of your opponent's Digimon when attacking lose 4 memory is also really nice, and being able to delete one of your opponent's Digimon is also nice. So this is just kind of there in case we don't get our main combo. 2 copies of the MetalGarurumon Ace for the same reason as the new MetalGarurumon X. It is a defensive play. The OTK combo does still work with this card. And just when Digivolving, we can steal a bunch of memory back from the opponent and delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. So 2 copies of that. And then 2 copies of the Blitz Omnimon. This is to finish off the opponent after we run our full combo, and it is going to have protection if it would leave the board. Then we have 3 copies of the X-antibody Protoform over the old X-antibody, because this does make our Digivolution into Garurumon X 0 if we don't have any Cool Boys on board, and then if our stack does die, we get to recover this to the top of security and return one of the Digimon in the stack to our hand. So this is really nice in this deck where we do have reduced protection pieces, so this can potentially help us rebuild our stack if we do lose it. 3 copies of the BT6 Matt Ishida. This is kind of the same as Yuji. If you've ever played a Garurumon deck, you're just going to gain a memory and draw a card when you move a Gabumon from breeding to the battle area. So again, helping you cycle your pieces, making sure you don't get choked out at 1 memory either. And then lastly, 2 copies of the starter deck 16 Matt Ishida. It is a memory setter, and it can gain us memory when we discard a card. Lastly, 3 copies of Cool Boy. We do run X-antibodies, we run X-antibody Digimon, so this can grab those pieces. It helps us find our option, so it is really nice for the deck. So if you don't know what the combo is, roughly, you want one of these protection pieces in your stack, and then you Digivolve into this WereGarurumon. You're going to get 2 checks with this, Digivolve into the X-antibody, and unsuspend. Then you can Digivolve into this MetalGarurumon and attack. You use this inheritable to unsuspend, so that's 3 checks. Then you can attack again and use this card's all turns effect to unsuspend again, so that's your 4th check. Then you swing, unable to unsuspend, that's your 5th check. You go into MetalGarurumon X and you unsuspend, that's 6 checks. So if you're playing against a normal deck, you would win, but there's a lot of yellow vaccine running around, so to deal with that, we run the Blitz Omni for a 7th check. So you should be able to OTK someone if they hit a reinforcing memory boost or some kind of card that's going to bump them up to 6 security without you being able to get all 5 checks in beforehand. So 7 checks with this deck. That is the game plan. Let me know what you think of the deck profile. I'll give it a try. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And that's going to be it for this deck profile, so have a nice day.